Or what happens if you go out on a date and then don't call the person the next day
Okay.
and then have a change of heart a year later?
What? Why
That's
would you?
what we're talking about in today's second date update. Philip is on the phone with us right now. He met a girl named Hannah during a karaoke night a year ago
Okay.
and is deciding just to get a hold of her now.
Why?
Philip?
Well, I recently served overseas in the Marine Corps. It's kind of a long story with me and Hannah, really. Yeah, like you said, I met her in a karaoke bar, and, I'm not a good singer or anything, but I just was so tempted to break the ice in some way. I asked her to do a duet with me, and despite my horrible voice, she put up with it and sang Summer Nights from Greece with me.
Oh, a classic.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's actually an interesting story why you weren't able to call her back for a year. Go ahead and tell everybody what happened.
I had to ship out for the Marine Corps, and I told her I'd call her. I was very much attracted to this woman, but I just couldn't let myself start something that I knew I was going to have to put on hold. You know what I mean?
So are
Right.
you stationed back here again, or you're home?
Yeah, I am back, and that's kind of why I'm contacting you guys.
Your email says that you promised to call her and you feel bad because you haven't.
I do, but I need to let her know that I was doing that for the right reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's kind of sweet. I mean, it's like a little love story that could star some big celebrities on the big screen. This could all work out amazingly,
Or she could be married and have 4 kids. You don't know.
You never know.
Oh, I hope that's not the case, but
So since you've been back from serving your tour, have you heard anything about her at all?
no, as soon as I got back and got comfortable, I realized something that I left behind. The whole time that I was overseas, she was all I thought about the entire time.
Wow.
Are you worried that she's not going to feel the same? I mean, it's been a long time.
I am worried. I have no idea what to expect in terms of how she feels at this point. I mean, it has been a while, and she probably thinks that I was rejecting her.
What was it about her?
Just the confidence of her. That was the biggest thing for me. When she was up there singing karaoke, it was like she looked so comfortable. Like, it blew my mind. And I'm really awkward when it comes to doing stuff like that in front of big groups of people. But as soon as I went up there and shared the stage with her, it was like I felt like a completely different person. I knew.
At any point after you met her, did you tell her that night, like, oh, I'm going to be leaving soon to go overseas?
I wasn't sure what to say because I didn't want to ruin the moment that night. I didn't want to let her know that this was all for nothing, basically, because I'm leaving. I couldn't break it to her at that point.
So how did that end that night? I mean, you guys hung out after you sang together, and then what happened?
I didn't want to push things too far because I didn't want there to be a big emotional connection there, even though there wound up being one anyway for me. But, I kissed her, I said goodnight, and I told her I'd call her, and I feel really bad for not doing that.
And you haven't tried at all since you've been back to get a hold of her?
No, I haven't, but I heard from my friends about the whole second date thing that you guys do, and thought that might be a good way to find out how she really feels.
All right, perfect. What we're going to do is we're going to play a song, come back, call her, and get your second date update, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Oh, it's the age-old story. Guy meets a girl at a karaoke night. Guy promises to call her the next day. Guy disappears for a year and now wants to reconnect with her. That's what we're doing right now in the second date update. Philip is on the phone. Philip met a girl named Hannah at a karaoke night about a year ago. Now, he's in the armed services, had to go overseas for a year. He didn't call her the next day, ended up leaving, and now he's back and wants to get in touch with her. Philip, how are you feeling right now?
To be honest with you, I'm very nervous about this. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I'm worried that I screwed up. I don't know.
You said you were thinking about her every day for an entire year when you were overseas.
Yeah, there were points where I even considered trying to contact her, but I was just worried that it would seem weird coming out of the blue after one date. I don't know, but I do feel very strongly about her.
All right, I'm going to call her right now, okay? You ready?
All right.
Here we go.
Hello,
Hey, is this Hannah?
this is?
Hannah, how are you?
This is Jubal from Brook and Jubal in the Morning.
What?
This is Jubal from Brook and Jubal in the Morning. It's a radio show. How you doing?
Is this a joke? What is this?
No, it's not a joke. I know this is going to sound kind of weird, but do you remember meeting a guy named Philip at a karaoke night about a year ago?
What what's going on?
Does that story about meeting a guy named Philip a year ago at a karaoke night sound familiar to you?
How do you know about Phil?
Oh, Phil and I go way back.
Yeah.
I've known him for longer than you have. Phil is back in town. You don't know this, but Phil didn't call you after you met because he was leaving to go overseas in the armed services.
Oh my gosh, he was overseas?
Mm-hmm. But he has emailed us and asked us to get a hold of you.
Why?
Because he
great
says that he really connected with you that night a year ago. And now you don't know this, but in his words, he said he's thought about you the entire time, and now he's back, and he wanted to get a hold of you.
Oh, this sounds...
Did you like Philip?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is so
awesome.
cute.
She's excited.
What'd you think when Philip didn't call you back the next day after you met him?
Wow. I mean, this is like cheesy to say, but it kind of broke my heart.
Really?
Really?
You know, have you ever had those moments in life where you like, this is big, this is super important, this is like magic right now?
Yeah.
And it was. And then I never heard from him again, and it was like it had been a dream or something.
Okay, so let's see, where are you at now? So Philip has been gone a year. He's back in town, and he wants to get a hold of you.
Wow. I wish I had known. I spent like 4 months pining over this one evening, but then a couple of months ago, a friend set me up with a friend, and I've been seeing him for a couple of months.
Yeah, but how serious is it? I mean, we're only a couple months in, and you're obviously like pining over a guy for 4 months is crazy after one night.
A guy that you met on one night you have no idea about, but you've been seeing somebody for a little while.
Yeah, I've got a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's something so powerful that's happening here.
So you have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you want to talk to Philip at all?
I don't know.
I asked the question because Philip is actually on the other line right now.
What?
Hi, Anna. How are you?
Oh my God.
Are you there?
Hi. Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Listen, honestly, right now I'm really disappointed. Not in you by any means, just in myself for letting this go as long as I did. And I didn't expect you to wait for me, but I really need to tell you that that night, it meant a lot to me. That's the first time in my life where I've really felt like I met someone that took me out of my shell, you know. For the first time, I felt like I was around somebody that I could be completely honest with, and I couldn't stop thinking about it while I was overseas, but I felt so guilty for not calling you and for not telling you that I was going there in the first place. And
I wish you had. I wish you had.
I really wish I had.
I didn't know. I thought maybe you didn't have the experience that I had.
No, I want you to know that I did, and I'm not doing this like at this point. Everything that I'm saying, I'm not doing in spite of your boyfriend to try to steal you away from him or anything. I'm speaking completely from my heart, and that night meant so much to me. It really got me through my stint overseas, you know. But I understand if you have a boyfriend. I'm not trying to intrude on that. I want you to know how I feel.
You're so sweet, and the connection that we shared was so amazing. I wish you'd called me sooner.
I know the timing is horrible, but I have to try. You know, I have to. When I feel strongly about a person, I can't just give up on that person.
So both you guys felt the same way about that night.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
I think we did, yeah.
And are you like in love with your boyfriend? I mean, have you guys gone to that level?
That's a really hard question to answer, actually. And I mean, and I don't want to sound shallow, but sometimes you meet people and it's just like everything lines up and it just all clicks. And sometimes it takes time to start to uncover that. And my boyfriend is definitely someone that it takes time to uncover with.
Is that what you're saying, Hannah, that like you still don't really feel as strongly about your boyfriend as you do about that night with Philip?
I don't know. It's more complex than that.
I just know if I was in your situation, I would go back to this boyfriend, and all I could think about was this man who's come back into my life after a year, and what am I doing?
Look, I don't know. This has gotten really complicated all of a
Hannah,
sudden
listen,
and really unexpectedly.
I'm not trying to create problems for you. That's not something I want to do. That was never my intention. But feelings are feelings. You can't ignore them.
Hannah, what if we send you guys out on a second date? We will pay for it.
Are we allowed to do that? She's a boyfriend.
Yeah, of course
she'll
we
be
are.
honest.
Meet up with him. You guys can have a conversation. You don't have to. It doesn't even have to be called a date if you don't want it to be. If you have a boyfriend.
I mean, that night is it's one of the most vivid experiences of my life. And it feels like it would be wrong to ignore that. And this could get me in really big trouble.
No, Hannah, you don't ever have to tell your boyfriend.
This isn't something we can ignore. You know, we can't just go on with our lives and pretend that didn't happen.
I think it's worth seeing if that was just a one-off fluke or if there actually is something there. And if there is, then I have some hard decisions to make.
So, Hannah, you are going to go out with Philip again?
Yeah.
Yes!
Awesome.
Yes!
Are you going to tell your boyfriend?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I want to be completely upfront about this whole thing. I don't want to leave things to chance again.
Okay, my next question, we're running a little light on content. Can we do it tomorrow at like 7:10? Can we do it on the air?